Carolyn Dube here, and today I am playing with rubber stamps and stencils to create this art journal page. And the first layer here is a jelly print. I've got some great subtle color going on. I'm going to bring in Distress ink in Salty Ocean, and I'm going to use that with a stamp called Fruit Pods from Lost Coast Designs. And I'm just going to fill the entire page with this stamp. It doesn't matter if this isn't perfect because parts of it are going to get covered up. I'm trying to create detail in the background, and I just love the way this pattern flows. Absolutely in love with this pattern. And I'm going to get every nook and cranny of this page filled up with this design so that I can go on to my next layer. And my next layer is going to be bringing in a stencil. This is my 1700 stencil from over at Stencil Girl, and this is going to create the focal image on my page. I'm just using blue acrylic paint and a stiff bristled brush to stencil this in. In a perfect world, if I'm perfectly patient, I pounce up and down so that there isn't any paint that goes underneath, but I'm not a patient person, you already know that. So I try to go up and down, but there's a little side to side too. If a little bit of paint leaks under, it's not going to bother me at all, and that frees me up so I can work things a little bit faster because some days I have the attention span of a squirrel. And you've probably noticed that I'm moving my fingers around to hold the stencil down right where I'm actually stenciling. This allows me to stencil quickly but not have as much leakage. And here's what the image looks like. You can see the stamping coming through as the background on the house. Well, the background needs to sort of fade to the background, so I'm going to use some white acrylic paint to push that back. It's not going to be perfectly covered, and probably should have grabbed a smaller brush to get in those little areas, but by just using the side of the paintbrush, I can get in fairly tight spots anyway. And then I'm just going to go back over with some white paint to kind of even out my strokes so that they look all equally splotchy all around, so one area doesn't stand out from the other. And my house needs a little moonlight to go with it. So I grabbed another jelly print, and I wanted to brighten it up and make it more of a glowing yellow moon kind of color. So I'm using a catalyst blade tool, and I am just squeegeeing on a thin coat of paint so that some of the interesting parts of the jelly print come through and give me a little bit of subtle color there. It also dries very quickly, which is one of the perks, but I probably should have let it dry a little longer, but you know me, that impatience thing. So I've got that Salty Ocean back out again, this time using it with another stamp from Lost Coast Designs. This one's called Light Mandalas, and I am going to stamp multiples of it just in case. Partially because I'm here already, so I might as well do it. And it also gives me some spares if I need them. So now I'm going to cut them out. The two that are mostly yellow, I'm going to cut those out as round as I can really cut anything by hand. And you know what? I really like that leftover bit of paper with the circle and the yellow. I think those are going in an art journal somewhere. Well, anyway, now it's time to create the moon. And so I've got the moon up there. Which one do I want? This is the cool part about having two. I can pick the one that calls to me. And now what I'm going to do is just put some gel medium and put that thing down. But here's the thing. I use Distress ink on the top. And if I put the gel medium over the top of it, it's probably going to reactivate that Distress medium because it reacts to water. And I haven't exactly given this much time to dry. I didn't heat it with a heat gun, so that's why I didn't go over it on top. So now I'm going to be really careful. I've got this great idea for this moon glow coming around the moon. And yeah, it's really not going to come together the way it is in my head. Sometimes what's in my head maybe wasn't what it was meant to be. So I'm just using the paint cap there. And it's another small catalyst tool that I've gotten there. And it's just allowing me to put a thin coat around there. But I really wanted something scratchy. And I don't have scratchy here, but I'm going to get scratchy. So I'm going to take a ballpoint pen that is in the process of dying. It's almost dead, so that's why I was making sure it's totally dead. And I'm going to create scratchy little lines with that pen in the paint. And the final touches get added with the Stabilo pencil. Well, thanks for joining me for some of my art journal play today. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm up to, you can find me over on my blog at acolorfuljourney.com, and you can also subscribe to my newsletter where I've got a free downloadable video and PDF waiting for you, and I'll have the links down below for you for that too. And of course, I'd love it if you shared it because that is what fuels my muse to get me back into the studio making more videos to share with you. Thank you for being a part of this colorful journey.